Hello everybody, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making a very simple stand-up card. Buckle in. The video itself is a little bit long for me, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to be very simple once you watch and see it. So we're going to be using our Ice Friends stamps and dies. I love these. They're so stinking cute. And we're going to pair that up with our Pine Forest background. This is such a cute, whimsical background. I used it a couple times. We're also going to be using our Insider Sentiments stamps, and then there are dies that can go along with this. I decided I wanted to make this a Christmas card rather than just a winter card, so that's where this stamp set comes in, and it's got some great sentiments for the inside, as well as you could use some of those on the inside also. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our stamping. We've got a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and we are scoring it at 4.25. This is going to be one of those like landscape type cards, and it is A2. So I've pulled out our Pine Forest background. I'm going to ink that up with some Simon Hurley Create fake plant ink, and I am going to stamp that background right on the front of our card. So it's all folded. I'm going to just use a piece of paper and rub that all over the front. And then the trick here, because I screwed it up the first time, is to pay attention to how you're doing the next stamping, because we are going to stamp that background one more time. Before we do that, I'm going to ink blend that fake plant all over the edges of the front of our card, just using a blending buddy. I think that just kind of fills in the cracks and makes that background look even better. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I've opened up the card, just going to flip it like so. And then I am going to ink up my background one more time because we want the trees to be on the inside as well. So when you open it up, you see those trees. So just like that, closed up, and that way those trees will be positioned the right way. Like I said, I screwed it up the first time. So whatever, it is what it is. I didn't get a perfect stamp this time, but that's okay. A lot of that actually will get covered. So once again, bringing in our blending buddy and some more of that fake plant, we're just going to blend that just on the 3 edges there. We don't need that bottom one. I'm going to bring in all of the images, I think all the images, most of them. The only one I didn't do was the extra hockey stick. And I'm going to ink those up using some Blackout ink, and I'm doing that onto some Express It cardstock. That's a good combo for alcohol marker coloring because that is what we're doing today. So I'm going to stamp that actually twice. That's why the Misty is so great. So I didn't love the way it was stamped the first time, so stamped it again. And then we're going to bring in our Olo markers, and we are going to go lightest to darkest. I'm going to actually speed this up. Right now what you see is double time, but I'm going to speed it up to be about 8 times since I am coloring all of those images, and the coloring concepts are basically the same. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and increase our speed double time. I'm going to do my best to put all the colors up on the screen. And there's actually that fox. Most of the coloring for the fox is not on camera. Again, I know I got a great tip the other day. Someone was like, hey, just mark it on your glass mat where you need your camera to be or where you need your page to be, and then you'll never make that mistake. And I was like, oh, that's a great tip. Well, do you think I've done it yet? Obviously not. So it is a great tip. I just sometimes, like I said, before I get into coloring mode and I'm not quite paying attention to all of those things. So I will bring the fox down when I actually color the fox with the fox colors, the oranges, but I think she looks so cute. And my color combination, I just kind of, for most of those, the bunny and the fox, we stuck with that same color combo, but for our little reindeer, our bear, and our penguin, we're using basically the same colors for those as well. And he's so cute, a little hockey bear. I just love him. And we're going to make him a polar bear, so he's just going to use some light grays, mostly sticking to a lot of the white sticking around in that background for his face and stuff. But yeah, I think they just turned out super cute. And that's what I love about these bigger stamp sets, is just stamping out all the images and seeing how I can use them. And we're going to use all of them but one on the inside. So only one of those is going on the outside. Most of our scene will be on the inside. And then I'm going to bring in our matching dies, and then I'm going to tack that down with a little bit of mint tape, and we'll run this through our die cutting machine. Now, I don't know about you, when you come up with ideas for cards or yeah, anything really. If you are a sit down and sketch it out, I am a wake me up at 3 in the morning with an idea. I know it's crazy. Something's going on there. But the idea for this card came at 3 in the morning. And that's not necessarily super conducive for somebody like me. I have so many ideas all the time and not enough time to make all the cards. And I am an avid card maker my time right now has just been so crazy. It will get better probably by mid-year next year. But until then, I am just having to write down my ideas. Like I said, avid card maker. Maybe I should get better at and become more of an avid card sender. I don't know. You tell me down in the description box or the comment section. Are you better at making them than sending them, or is that just me? All right, so I'm going to stamp out the sentiments that I want onto some black sentiment cardstock. This stuff is super smooth and it's great. I used an anti-static powder tool on that, inked up my stamps with some of that juicy embossing ink, and then covered that with a white detail embossing powder, and then I just heat set that with my heat tool. And I'm doing it on the black because I really want that to stand out. But like I said, with this stamp set, there are some dies that you can get along or get with it that will die cut out, and then it also leaves this really cool like embossed frame around it. And you may not be able to see it super great in the video, but hopefully in the pictures at the end you can see that. I just think it's really just a neat way to do these sentiments. So I'm going to just bring in those dies. There's a little heart die that comes in this set. I'm going to die cut that out as well out of some hot pink cardstock. And then I'm going to rub off that anti-static powder tool with my fingers. You could do it with a microfiber cloth as well. I did die cut out a circle. That came from our Clean Cut Layers Circle Set B. I have Set B and A, and they are just, yeah, fabulous. I highly recommend them if you do not have a good circle die set. And just use the pink that was already on my Blending Buddy because no, I have one for every color, and I don't clean them. I should, maybe, but I don't. And then we're going to just kind of make a bit of a background for our fox to sit on. I'm bringing in some Crafty Gluefriend to glue down our circle. And then I am going to glue down our sentiment for the outside that I picked. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. And then we'll put the heart right there as well. And then for our fox, to attach him to the front, I'm going to use some adhesive foam strips. These are great. They're double-sided adhesive and they're nice and thin, so they work really well on smaller dies like this. They also work really well on a lot of the sentiments that Trinity Stamps carries. And I'm just going to use what I need, trim it up where I need to. They also bend really well, so if you just peel off that the release paper on the other side, you can bend these however you need them to bend. So that's also great. I'll peel off the release paper on the back of these, and then I can just stick our little fox down on the front. That isn't going to finish all of what I'm going to do to decorate the front, but for now, we need to move on to the inside. So I've got these 4 pieces of cardstock. These each measure 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm going to score them at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, and 4 inches. This is going to make our little boxes for the inside. Just kind of, like I said, woke up at 3 in the morning thinking about this, and so I had to do it. And so I've scored it, like I said, and then I'm going to bring in some rip and stick tape just on that one edge that's only about 1/4 of an inch. We're going to use some of that rip and stick. Folded it the wrong way, so we got to flip it and fold it the other way if I want that to actually adhere. So we're making little boxes. I'm making 3. 3 is kind of excessive. You really probably only need 2. You could do just 1 if that's what you wanted, but I really wanted this to look like snow on the inside of my card. Just know that with each box that you're going to put on the inside, it will add bulk. So I'm peeling off the release paper on that rip and stick, and then I'm going to just attach this down. And then we have got one of our little boxes. I'll show you one more. But again, it's just the same process for all 3 of these boxes. And that's what makes it so easy. That 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches is the size of an A2 size card front or card panel. So there isn't some crazy measurement that you need. This is just, and again, this works really well for like a landscape type card. So we'll close that up. we've got our 3 little boxes. That's how they're going to fit on the inside. And again, the more boxes you have, the more bulk you're going to have. So keep that in mind for mailing. And I'm going to bring in some more Rip and Stick. I'm only going to attach it. This one I'm going to attach on 2 sides. So we'll start by just putting it on one of those panels, sticking it on the inside, and then closing up our piece. And then I'm going to put some that on the bottom. And then I'll peel off that Rip and Stick, and then we can attach that to the bottom of our card. All right, so now I'm going to bring in the other 2 boxes. I'm only going to attach these on the bottom to start. And that'll just make sure that they're placed correctly, and then we can attach them to each other when we need to. But just to put it on the bottom. Okay, and then again, that third one. The third one's excessive, but again, wanted snow. So I like to, go big or go home, I guess. I don't know. Even though I am at home all the time. Well, no, I'm definitely not these days. All right, so again, sticking that down just on the bottom, and then we're going to build our little scene on the inside. And to do so, well, I do have a little bit of excess that hangs off the side. I guess I didn't make these completely 4 1/4. I'm just going to bring my guillotine trimmer in. You could just use some scissors as well, and I'm going to trim that down just so that those aren't sticking out the edge on that side. Super easy. A little bulky, but just fine. And then I'm going to take a scrap of white cardstock and just trim down enough little strips for these to attach to the bottom of our little critters. So I'm using Rip and Stick. You could use double-sided adhesive like that, or you could use liquid glue. That would work just fine as well. I'm going to stick some of the pieces on the very back of our card. That's going to be our trees and our little goalie post. Just to add to this little scene. So cute though. But I like this idea because this is the scene will stand up, which I think is so fun. So I went a little bit overboard here and I die cut each of my little critters again, just out of some white cardstock. That's going to make these more stable, but it's also, again, going to add more bulk. So you could absolutely skip that step. Now I'm putting Rip and Stick tape on 2 of those inside boxes, and I'll peel that off. I'm gonna end up making a few mistakes. You'll see that as we go, but like closing this up. Thankfully that Rip and Stick is a little bit forgiving. You have some time. I mean, be careful because you could tear it, but I meant to not close that up. I wanted to add to my strip there. So we're just going to peel that away a little bit, stick our penguin in. We're going to move him because that's not where he's going to end up going. I discovered that you do need to make sure that whatever you're putting in here is going to be able to close and not have those stick out too far. By trying to put my bear and my reindeer here, they're going to stick way out of the front of the card once that card is closed. So I end up peeling everything back. Nothing got ruined. We're all good there. Again, I am a work with what you got kind of person. The only one that's actually going to be able to stick on the front and not stick outside of the card is our penguin. So he's the only one that gets to be up at the front. Everything else has to go on this middle panel or this first panel, which makes it a little bulky, but it's just fine. And I will say that I have to move that reindeer even down a little bit further because his antlers stick out just a tiny, tiny bit. I'll use some Crafty Gluefriend just to adhere that down. And then there you go. That's the inside of our card scene. I think it's so cute, really. It just looks like they're on some snow and ice. And I kind of love it. Yeah. All right, so then for the sentiment on the inside, I'm just going to use some liquid glue and adhere that to the back of our scene. That gives me a little bit of room at the bottom to write to my recipient, but mostly it's going to be that scene. I do bring in some watermelon Twinkle, and I'm going to use my pickup stick along with some Crafty Gluefriend to attach those down. And then that's going to finish off our card. I know this was kind of a long one, and I am just go with it. I don't often just make a prototype, so the mistakes you see are I'm just making them live. But I hope you like this card, and I hope you want to give it a try. So if you like it, please hit that like button. definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you so much for all that you guys do, all the liking, subscribing, using my affiliate links. It really does help me to keep producing videos, and I'm going to keep coming. So stick around. I will be back with another video very shortly. Bye, everybody.